I tell you, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Immediately, when all that happened, I left. I just disappeared. I ran to my car because I was just so overwhelmed with so much emotions. I tried to light a cigarette to calm my nerves. I started crying in the middle of the car, in the parking lot. Luckily, there was nobody there. I was crying.
Yeah.
Because the first time I felt alive. The first time I felt like I was doing something.
Welcome to the Hot Mic Show with Austen Alexander.
I still haven't got used to that intro. It's really, really aggressive.
You know, it's like you're driving to work, and as soon as the episode comes on,
Yeah. It's like it starts off aggressive because I like energy. I like to really bring the energy, and like I portray that through a lot of my YouTube videos. I'm like, bam, like I want you to be feeling this right now.
That's how you jumpstart your day. Like imagine it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Next, there's an explosion going on in your car.
Yeah.
That's how you start your morning, right?
Exactly. It really wakes people up. As if the coffee wasn't doing it, you got the Hot Mic Show now.
Now cause an accident on the 5 because now you were startled.
Yeah. So move a little bit closer to the microphone, or you can bring the microphone a little closer. Now, I want people to hear the emotion in your voice. Go ahead.
Always.
Go ahead and test it out for me real quick.
All right, mic check. Can everybody hear this? I don't sound like a man like Austen does for some reason.
Yeah, you do. You got the bass in your voice.
Can we edit it so that way it gives me like that echo feel?
I can't do it. I'm sorry. You sound good, I promise. So while you're sounding good right now, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell the audience who you are, what you do.
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. Everybody, you already know what it is. It's Demetrius Thigpen, Austen. I can't go back to my own setup. I just can't go back home. Now, I just saw the intro. We did the mics.
Yeah.
It's like getting kicked out of heaven. I'm not even about to lie to you.
Well, you know what? It is the season of giving. And I see what you're doing. And I know the people that are going to continue to listen to this podcast or watch this podcast on the video, they're going to see the emotion and the passion that you have for podcasts. And that's your platform. Your goal is to be a motivational speaker, to travel around and do what you like to do and motivate others. And I like that.
Thank you.
So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. It is a season of giving. So here's what I'm going to do. Don't get all emotional on me now, okay?
Don't make me cry on air.
Don't cry. Here. I just replaced, I want to say this. I've been blessed. I've been very blessed for the people that support me and the people that continue to listen to my stuff, even if it's just a like, even if it's just a follow. I appreciate every single one of you, and I want to pass that on to others that have a passion to do the same here. I want you to have these 2 microphones, and I'm really excited to give this to you because you told me you record in your iPhone. You're making it happen with whatever you have, and you record into a gaming headset. And I want you to have this too. This is called a Zoom H4n. It's used. I used to use it, but it takes the XLR inputs and you put it in here, and you can get really high quality audio with those 2 microphones and this recorder. I want you to have this. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Don't get emotional on me, okay? For the people that aren't watching through video, man, he's come on, say something. It's all right. Just let's put it down. Let's just forget about it. There you go.
And obviously there's going to be a lot more emotion throughout the episode, but I just really want to just take a moment and just say really thank you. And I say thank you because when I first started this, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. Mm. And for the longest, I thought to myself that this wasn't my gift, and I was ashamed of it. I felt like I wasn't worthy of it. I used to look at everybody. I would look at everybody that was on social media, and I would say to myself, like, why? This is for them. This isn't for me. Mm-hmm. And for the longest, I would come in second place. I would come in third place. I was never good. I was good, but I was never great, and I definitely wasn't extraordinary. Mm-hmm. So when I started in a closet, and they know I'm in a closet. I put on a headset, and I record right then and there. And I just spill my heart out. So for you to do that, like, it really means a lot because this just ain't just like something that I'm just like doing. This is like, I'm telling a story. Yeah. My heart. Mm-hmm. Like I look at this like one of my one of my kids, because it means so much. And I just really want to say thank you. Like thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Don't mention it. And
we're gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry. Please don't cry. When I'm speaking to you, and I'm being honest right now, when I'm speaking to you, I see the emotion in your face. I see the emotion in your eyes right now as we're making this eye contact. And the first time that I watched or I heard a piece of your content, sorry, I can't talk today, was when we made the video about the Marine Corps martial arts. And that segment spoke to me. And you said you kind of just made it up on the fly. And I want to play that right now real quick. I have it on the board. I want to play it. So you guys, you can give it a listen.
See, what we first thing we need to understand is that there's no such thing as first place, second place, and third place when we talk about this warrior mindset. It's either you live or you die. It's either yes or no. It's either you impose your will or you submit to theirs. So when we talk about that physical discipline, what I need you to understand is as you embark on your training, that this is no personal gain here. That you will break your body down and use those pieces to put yourself back together, because every time that you face your adversity that will take human form, you will have to strike it with the metric force of a ton. I need you to understand it.
And that little piece of audio has been viewed by almost 1 million people. I think it's got about 900,000 views on it on my YouTube channel.
That's crazy.
And when I was editing, when I was listening to that piece of audio, I was like, this is good right here. And Galatron added the music to it, and it just brought it out even more. So I want you to continue to do this. You got to make me a promise, because I hear the emotion, like I said, through your words and the way you speak. I want you to continue creating this podcast. I want you to grow it, because it will grow. It may take some time. It may take 1 or 2 weeks, whatever. But at some point, you will realize that it's reaching a lot of people, a lot more people than maybe clicking like on your post or whatever. It's reaching a lot more people, like you and I were talking about during the episode previously. So just use it and continue to build, and it's my honor to give that to you.
Man, I feel like it's like when you get like a lightsaber or sword, it's like use these for good.
Yeah, yeah,
use these for good.
Exactly. I've never seen Star Wars, but I know what you're talking.
I've never seen Star Wars. I've just seen the commercials.
Oh, okay.
We tried to watch Star Wars and we both fell asleep. And I was just like, all right, well, I guess this is just something that we're going to miss out on.
Mm-hmm. I don't like a lot of fiction stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of fake stuff. I just can't get into it.
Oh, I'm the complete opposite. Like, I love fiction stuff. Like, I don't play sports. I mean, I play sports, but I don't play sports games because I can do that in real life.
Yeah.
I can't play Call of Duty because, one, I don't feel like being insulted while I play, because those are Marines. Those are real people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what I do in
I know
real
what
life.
you're saying. Yeah.
I want to go save the world. I want to be, I want to kill dragons and stuff like that. Fun fact, it took me a long time to finally just be out in the open about that, like anime and Dungeons and Dragons and fiction stuff, because I used to feel so ashamed about that. Like, I used to not tell anybody. I used to try to pretend that I watched sports like the regular guys.
Really?
Swear to God.
I think I was the same way a little bit. People were they're like, oh, you're from Alabama? I'm like, yeah, Roll Tide. But I hardly even watch any of the games. Like, if I can't change something, if I physically or mentally can't change something, then I'm not really in tune with it. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't like to dwell on stuff. Like, if something happens and I can't change it, then I don't dwell on it. Mm-hmm. Like if an accident happens and I can't change that accident from happening, trying my best not to worry about it or just push it out of my mind.
I'm trying to get like that now, because I used to be the type that will sit there. If something happens, it'll eat at me for a little bit, and it's just like I feel like it just took a long time for my emotions to digest it. I felt like I was lactose intolerant to issues.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't digesting the right. But
lactose and intolerant.
Lactose emotional tolerant.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
And it's just it took a while for me just to get used to it. But now it's like I don't worry about anything. If it's out of my hands, it's none of my business.
Mm-hmm. So, just like always, the Hot Mic Show is, unplanned, unscripted. I have Mr. Demetrius here, and you've been in the Marine Corps for how long?
10 years now.
So if you could summarize the Marine Corps into one sentence, how would you do it? I'm putting you on the spot. It's hard. It's going to be a hard one. I need the thinking music in the background.
Stand by for disking.
Stand by for what?
Stand by for disking.
Disking?
Yeah.
What does disking mean?
So on the range, when you're shooting a rapid fire and everything, it'd be like stand by for disking, and that's the stand by for decisions to be made and verifiers to go through and for you to see your score.
Yeah.
So if I could think about anything that's happened in the military, that immediately stand by for disking.
Yeah.
You don't know what's about to happen. Let's just wait and figure it out. Let's hurry up and wait here and figure out if this is going to be the situation.
So similar to stand by to stand by.
Mm-hmm. Stand by to stand by.
Yeah, except stand by to stand by in the Navy can mean oh, you're about to get in trouble. Like stand by to stand by, oh, some shit's about to go down.
I tell my junior Marines that. I'm like, stand by for disking.
I've never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if it's a lesson that you've learned in the Marine Corps, try your best to summarize it in a sentence. This is another hard one.
Don't fall in love with the plan.
Okay.
And I say don't fall in love with the plan because there's been just countless times where I believe that something was supposed to go the way that it was supposed to, just off of who I was dealing with, the situation. I've had my entire eggs lined up just to see them crack in one basket. So don't fall in love with the plan, and to be very flexible.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I'm going to tie that into a story of mine. Back in 2018, I realized that I wanted to create another source of income to be, to provide for the ones that I love and to give and to stuff like that. And I looked into marketing, and I realized, I'm not completely passionate about marketing. It's not what I want to do, but I started a business in marketing. And even though I had it all planned out, I was going to launch the website, I was going to go door to door, get marketing clients, and that was my plan. That's not really the way that it happened, because YouTube started to get on the rise for me, and I had to take that marketing business and just kind of put it aside. Mm-hmm. And even though I had such a plan, I was going to get all these clients and help them make money from their business, and I was going to make money, and I was going to be financially sustainable. That's not the way it happened. Uh-huh. So now I have learned to constantly adapt, and if a damper gets put in your schedule, you have to go get around it somehow.
I love that you say that, because isn't it just crazy how life plays out? Like, you thought that you were going to be going this direction, but for some reason you're in this direction now. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you right now, I never thought I'd be a speaker. Never thought. In fact, I actually hated public speaking. I would get so nervous when I got in front of crowds that I would start talking so fast, and then next thing you know, I'm talking so fast that I feel like that as if like nobody can hear me, but I'm talking so fast. So next thing you know, I have to do this. Yeah. And I feel like I try to do the visualize everybody naked. That didn't work. I'm the only one that's naked, and but it was just crazy how it just evolved, because I thought I was just going to do, and I used to tell people, I'll just do my 20 years and we're just going to figure out that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
And that was completely irresponsible, but I didn't know. And it's just, isn't it crazy just how life it happens and things just turn. It's like as if a series, like the main character is this, and then next thing you know, like season 5, like this is like Game of Thrones character development right here.
Yeah, for sure. So, and what changed in your mind that made you realize, hey, I'm going to be a public speaker, and just made you go for it and do it?
All right, so
it had to be some form of confidence, right?
It was more of like reassurance.
Okay.
Because I had been speaking in the military for almost 6 years. I'm a martial arts instructor trainer. Mm-hmm. And McMap is what got me into public speaking, because I had to speak. And when I was a martial arts instructor, my first class, I had aced it. They was like, wow, you're really good at this. And I was like, everybody's good at it. This is what y'all taught us. We're supposed to be. And then I look at the military's grading scale, and I don't think they're grading hard. I'm speaking in front of people for 8 months straight before I became a martial arts instructor trainer. Mm-hmm. Then now I'm giving platform classes aided by PowerPoint, informal lecture method, still speaking. But there was a piece with it. See, the mental, the physical, and the character, you got to talk about character. You talk about who you are when nobody's looking. Mm-hmm. I was using the tie-ins just like everybody else was, telling a story, but people still would come up to me and they'd be like, you're really good. And I'm like, thank you. Trying to be modest, trying to be humble. Mm-hmm. And it really stems from the fact that I never really felt like I was good at anything. I've always came in second place. I've always came in third. I never really accepted the grand prize because I felt like I didn't want that. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was supposed to. So anytime somebody would tell me something, I would just shrug it off, in a very modest approach. Fast forward, I think this year, 2019, mm-hmm. I am speaking at a class, same thing. Everybody comes up to me, you're good. I'm all right. I speak at a Lance Corporal seminar, leadership development seminar. And I get the little tie-in about the dollar. This is $1. And if I crumble it up, would it still be $1? If I stepped on it, would it still be $1? After I got done, a Marine, she comes up to me. And she comes up to me, she get to crying. And I'm looking at her like, Marine, first off, I'm only accustomed to making people cry because I made them cry.
Yeah.
What are you crying about? And she's like, sorry, that what you said, that's me, I'm the $1. And I'm like, first off, don't you get to crying because I'll cry. Because despite popular belief, I'm actually very emotional. I allow myself to get angry. I allow myself to get happy. I allow myself to feel those things. Mm-hmm. So seeing you cry is going to make me cry. But even then, I still didn't realize it because I just thought Marines will always be Marines. Marines will understand me because I speak that language.
Yeah.
The yelling and everything of that nature. Literally, the next week, I got invited to go speak at a college, California State San Marcos. And I'm on the board with all of these gentlemen, the vice president of the college, the police chief of the district. You know, these are prestige gentlemen with degrees, diplomas, all of that. And I'm just some regular Marine that just like to yell a lot, you know? And I was the youngest one on there. And I ended up having to speak last. And I listened. I listened to the way they were speaking. And I was like, okay, that's good. And they asked me to get up there and tell my story. And I told them because I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And I grew up differently than a lot of people. Father left us when we were young because of addiction. I had to learn to be a man at an early age. You have my environment into it. I'm a product of my environment. Grew up poor. And when we say grew up poor, the neighbors had to toss the extension cord over just so we could turn the microwave on. Yeah, it was bad, you know? And after I told them that, and I told them how I became successful, and I told them that I utilized the tools of my environment, and I allowed it to help me become who I am today. Teachers, they get up, they start clapping. At students, they get up, they start clapping. Everybody's giving me a round of applause. And next thing you know, I go to the bathroom because I got anxiety. I don't like to be around all of that.
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom, a teacher stops me, and he says, "You ignited a fire that I never knew I even had." And I'm like, whoa, you the teacher. And then next, teacher's like, "Do you have business cards?" I didn't even know I needed business cards. I wasn't a professional. I was just a speaker. And I didn't know that I could make a career out of this. I didn't know that this was my calling. I tell you, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Immediately, when all that happened, I left. I just disappeared. I ran to my car because I was just so overwhelmed with so much emotions. I tried to light a cigarette to calm my nerves. I started crying in the middle of the car, in the parking lot. Luckily, there was nobody there. I was crying.
Yeah.
Because the first time I felt alive, the first time I felt like I was doing something that I wasn't being told to do. I wasn't going through my normal program. This was something that I was so nervous about doing, and I felt like I would not be accepted by them. So when they accepted it and they felt it, and when somebody feels what you're talking about, it's crazy. And I cried. I just cried. And I thank God. I thanked everybody, because it was like, for the first time, I finally had my passion. I finally had my purpose. And after that, it just evolved into something else. Like, it was like, when you got something and it's like, you got something on your mind, you can't think of nothing else.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was like, I got a passion on me. And if I don't do anything, it's burning so much. This fire is so much that I'm about to be consumed by it. I'm about to combust. Right after that, a week later, launched the podcast.
Dang. And, so did that video, the video we created, did that happen before or after your first speaking gig?
That, I had already spoken at the college.
Okay.
And then I hadn't spoken anywhere else after that. And then I ended up speaking at a high school right after we did the video. But that video made me more known to the military side. Like, people were coming up to me after that video, like, hey, like, staring at me. And I don't know how y'all get used to it, but I'm not one of the people you could just randomly just stare at, like, for too long, because I'll look over, and I already got anxiety real bad. So I look over and I see you look away, and then I look away and then I see you looking at me again. I'm going to say something. Like, I've been in public places and I'm like, "Yo, can I help you with something? Do you know me?" And he's like, "You're from that video." And I'm like, "Oh, the YouTube thing." Like, my sergeant major pulled me into the office. And she was like, "You've been quite busy, Thigpen." And I'm like, "Sergeant major?" It's like, "We seen you on YouTube. We seen you on this." And I'm like, looking like all awkward with it. So it's been interesting.
Did you think you were going to get in trouble when they first saw that video?
Not really, because I knew, luckily, you and Koke had been doing that. And I say, like, I'm glad that y'all had initially done that. So it showed, like, they can do it. You see what I'm saying? So to be in that, I was just like, yo, this is just a blessing. Like, I thought, like, I'm just a guest character in this show. Like, I didn't know that, like, it was going to turn into that.
Yeah, I didn't, that video, it did a lot of things. It told a story from my perspective because I'm from the Navy. Like, I broke it down like, this is what they do in the Marine Corps, Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, MCMAP. This is what they do. This is how they train. These are the colors that they've received. These are the, the tabs on the belt they've received. And it was like going from somebody that doesn't know anything about the Marine Corps to somebody that would know about the Marine Corps and martial arts in the Marine Corps. So I think that's why the video, it told a story, and you guys, were a huge part of that story. Being the instructors, being the motivational speakers, showing me how the movements were done. So that the video, I get lots of people from my command say, "Yeah, I saw you in the video," and it's like it's nothing new, but was it a good feeling when
It was.
It's a good feeling when people point you out and say, "Hey, I see you in that video. It was a great video."
I had like a grandson, like he pulled me off to the side and like he's like, "Yo," like, and he pulls the video up and I'm like, "What are we doing?" Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm in the video. Like, where are we going with this? And he's like, "I can't believe that's you. I showed my mom this and everything." And I'm like, guys,
Yep.
like, and it's still, I still have not even gotten used to it, to be honest with you. Like when people like recognize me now and stuff like that, I still haven't gotten used to it.
And it's I don't want to say it's a simple idea, but let's summarize it. Going to Camp Pendleton on the obstacle course and creating a video. It's such a simple idea, but when you add the moving parts and everything and create this piece of content that can affect people, it can go a very long way. And that's a reason that I love YouTube, because one piece of content that I create can reach so many people. Just like this podcast has the potential to reach so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And just a few sentences has the potential to affect the way somebody lives.
Absolutely. I would definitely say that like so many people reached out. Once that video like came out, like people were reaching out from the woodwork like, "Hey, I have so many questions about this. I have questions about this." And I'm just like, guys, I still have questions about life.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's definitely a privilege and it's definitely an honor to be able to help people and to help inspire people. That was definitely one of the things. And I always consider this one of the biggest blessings that happened within my military career.
You mean the podcast or the video?
Doing the video was one, like that was a big blessing because anybody could speak, and y'all could have had anybody come out there and like say some fire stuff. you know?
Well, I say it all the time. I say anybody can make a video,
Mm-hmm.
but there are a lot of factors that go into it. Just like there are a lot of factors to becoming a speaker. Like previously, you said you didn't think it was possible. That's a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up on stage is a huge factor. Having lots of people look at them, that's a huge factor. So there are just barrels and barrels that you have to get over in order to actually do this stuff. So being a motivational speaker, I don't think anybody could do it.
Yo, I
So
never really
you're
thought of
cutting
it
yourself.
like that.
You're cutting yourself short there.
And that's one thing I definitely got to work on because I you know what it is like I don't know why, but I always don't, and it just always just goes back because I got a chance to talk to a life coach and she was just like, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, "Do what?" And she's like, "You always sell yourself short. Like,
Yeah.
you're." And she did this. She's like, "You're this," but you always try to make it seem like you always compress it. And I'm just like, I don't really know. She's like, "You need to find out why you do that." And I was like,
There are people that they go out and they're like, "Yo, I'm the shit," and they're really not.
mm-hmm.
And there are people that sell themselves short when I think they have, I don't know how to word this. You need to it's not self-absorbed. You just need to believe that you have the message,
Mm-hmm.
And that people need to hear it. And I think you believe that now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, I think you just had to believe that you had the message to put out.
And that's one thing that I did learn, and that with the podcast, because with each episode that I would put out, I couldn't just make up an episode. I couldn't just like pull something out of thin air. It had to be bothering with me.
Yeah.
It had to be dwelling within me. Like my first 10 episodes were all issues that I was really going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell everybody, like the podcast came from my depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a moment where I felt like I couldn't talk to nobody. I felt like I wasn't, like everybody, when people look at you, they don't realize what's going on within you. They only just see you. But the whole time you're fighting these battles, you got these issues going on. This chapter is taking too long and you haven't closed it yet. And that's how I felt. I couldn't even tell my wife. I was like, because I didn't want to burden her with my problem. And I definitely wasn't telling nobody at my job. Because the last thing you do, and I feel like this is one issue that we don't address, is the fact that we never go out there and say like, I need help. I need to talk. I'm falling apart. Because if we do, we're weak. And that's how I felt. And when I would turn the podcast on and I would start talking, the whole time I'm pulling at problems that I'm going through right now. Like my first episode was Find Your Peace. And I was talking to me. And I just laid everything out and I just started addressing it. And I addressed it in a manner of how I would want to be told. And that's like each episode just allowed me to heal in a different way.
Yeah, and that's kind of leaves me speechless. And I've never heard of it put like that before, of a podcaster speaking to themselves. And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Absolutely. Because you got to think about it. Like, we talk to ourselves on our way to work. We always talk to ourselves. You know, like, anybody that knows me knows I'm outspoken when I come to talking to myself. Like, you might walk by, you might see me standing off to the side, smoking a cigarette, or just standing walking somewhere. I'm talking to myself, and I'm answering back. Because first off, I got to consult with the realest person I know.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
but we rehearse all the time. And if something bothering us, we have to talk to ourselves. We have to address that situation. You know, there's so much power in isolation. In isolation, you are allowed to just take a look at the situation. So when I go in there and I start recording, I can't just talk to like a wall or anything. I imagine that I'm talking to myself. And then I even point at me, like in a situation like I'm talking and stuff like that. And I'll point, I'll do all of that because I gotta really feel exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people that solo podcasts, they don't do that. They put out a message for other people, and they come from a different standpoint. They can be like, okay, guys, you may be feeling like this, or you may be feeling like this, which kind of puts them on a pedestal. And I don't know. So if you're coming from that perspective, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Absolutely.
And the reason I like to actually have guests on my show is because I like to hear what they have to say. I like non-neutrality. I like people that have different perspectives. I like people that have been in different situations, and I just like to combine, and just talk.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Because when I would go in there, one of my there's been episodes where it's been too hard for me to do. Like, there's been an episode, like the episode with my father that I did for Father's Day, that took me 2 weeks to do that episode.
Dang.
Because it was just such a hard topic. Like, every time I would think about it, I would get emotional and stuff like that. And I hear those podcasts or whatever, like, okay, guys, like, nah, I'm in there talking like this. So you think that you better than everybody else. That's the reason why that you keep running into these exact same problems. I ain't talking to nobody but me. It's been the times where I've had to press record like this. All right, hey, yo, Demetrius, chill out, man. Okay, because I ain't trying to hear that today.
Yeah.
But the issue is that the hardest pill that we have to swallow is the pill of transparency. And how the hell do you think you're going to be able to, can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay. How the hell do you think that you're going to be able to help somebody else when you can't help nobody else? When you can't help yourself? You want to go out there and help somebody, but you bleeding out yourself. We got these internal wounds. We so worried about patching up the outside, but we got these internal wounds. We trying to help everybody else. We bleeding all over the place. You contaminating the crime scene. You contaminating something. You can't even give good advice because that's advice that you won't even follow. So how dare you try to sell somebody else that? You got to talk to yourself. You got to heal yourself. You want to be a better version of yourself? Then you need to focus on yourself. And then you can be able to help everybody.
Exactly.
My wife knocked on the door one time because I was yelling so loud in the booth. She was like, yo, it's 2:00 in the morning. What's going on? Chill it out. That's how bad it got.
Dang. And the way you record, you're telling me that you're, one of the reasons I wanted you to have that gear is because I know you started from the bottom, but you're making this podcast happen. You were telling me that, you have 3 kids and a wife. That's 2 or 3 full-time jobs right there of responsibility. And you said you were doing this episode, just pouring your heart out, and she came in and she said, "You want some onion rings?" Oh, God. And you're like, "I'm recording." Like,
and I try to look away. I like throw my mouth over there like, yeah. I'm recording right now. And, she had slithered back out like, and like the worst one was my kids, because kids don't care. Kids, like, they care now. They see that, like, okay, he is in there recording because I've allowed them to come in and actually see it. But I'm doing an interview, and it's a Skype call. I got everything already set up. I get a knock at the door. Do. My daughter, my oldest, she sits there. She says, "Dad, there's a frog out." He's talking, so I mute my mic, and I say, "I don't care about the frog. Then come inside." And she's like, "I can't go outside and play because there's a frog." I said, "You don't have to be outside."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, did you say something?" I was like, "No, keep going." Soon as he's going again, my son, who doesn't care about nobody but himself, pushes the door open. Now, how everything was set up, I was sitting next to the door. The phone, my headset was on my head, and he knocks the lights over, knocks the phone over. My headset gets tilted off my head, and the guy's just looking at me like. And my son looks at me and says, "Dad, there's a frog out." And in my mind, I'm like this, "Oh, y'all are done. Y'all are done as soon as I'm done in here. I can't wait."
Yeah. And that's That's the way it is. I mean, when you look at somebody that's successful, and if you look at where they come from or how they started, you know, it motivates me because they could be the person in the closet making videos with, you know, getting their headsets knocked off or whatever happened. I always look back at, because one of my big goals and aspirations is to be a good YouTube content creator. And I look at other content creators at where they began, and I can relate to them so much because they're like, hey guys, sorry, I'm working with a $40 camera. That was me. That was me. And it's good to relate. So I think it's good to bring those stories out. So because I feel like others can relate to it as well. And I talk about relating because relation, I think it's a very important factor to get your message across.
Absolutely.
You know,
I keep telling people, like, one day when I'm like on the stage, like selling out arenas, like, we're going to remember that I was in a closet.
Yep.
I can't wait for that.
And I see it. I'm not just saying that. I see it. You know, you already booked for a few gigs, right?
Yeah, I am.
And how long have you been pursuing being a motivational speaker? Like, seriously?
Actively, I would say the summer.
Okay.
Summer. So right after that in March, because right after I spoke at that college, that's when I started like pushing it.
And you picture this, when you do have the business cards at your next event and you hand them out, how much that is going to scale your motivational, you know, speaking gigs. So you're booked for what? Another 3 or 4 gigs?
Yeah, I'm booked for like 3 events this year.
This year? Or next?
One
next
year, one this year,
okay.
and then 2 next year. Already.
Okay, too early next year, right?
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the year is going to fill up. I can already see it.
And I keep telling myself, and this is the crazy part, and this is like one of the, I feel like it's just been a story that I just been wanting to tell. It's that this year I walked into 2019 saying that, there's something powerful is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know something powerful is going to happen. I told my wife that, because coming into 2019, I was so depressed because 2018 beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying that life beat me up, but it does got hands. And I think it got a couple of friends that keep jumping. You feel me? And 2018 wore my ass out emotionally, financially, physically. I got a concussion in 2018, and I still went out there and did it. And it got so bad that like lights used to hurt. When you get like everything felt like it was in HD and I was the one that was buffering for a long time. And I told my wife, I said, like 2019, I don't know what it is, but I know something powerful about to happen. And she's like, what you think it is? I was like, I don't, you know what? To be honest, I think I'm probably just getting promoted. And she's like, yeah, I can see that too. And I mean, you add the time in, like it would be around the time that I would get promoted. The zones came out, right? I was in the below, but still, I had I was thinking to myself, like something powerful happening. So when I didn't get selected and I didn't get passed, I just didn't get pulled. I'm thinking to myself and I sat back and I was like, what the hell's going on? I thought something powerful was supposed to be happening. I'm looking back, I'm like, so am I a joke to you, God? You think that's funny? The whole time, though, and this is the problem that we have, and this is the problem when we don't realize our passions are gifts. Just like that sign that's right behind you. You're looking over at me, but you don't realize how big and beautiful that is. And the whole time I was looking at this, thinking that this seed was going to sprout up. I didn't even realize I had a whole fucking forest behind me. Because that whole year, I had started a podcast. That year, I started speaking at leadership seminars. That year, I was speaking at colleges. That year, I met y'all. That year, we did that video. And I got a chance to meet so many extraordinary people. But the whole time, I'm buried in the dirt waiting for this one seed. Don't realize a forest sprouted up behind me. So something powerful did happen. And I always tell people that is that your blessing coming. But we try to treat success like it's a hot pocket. Toss it in the microwave, 2 minutes, it's done.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving just passed. How long did it take for your wife? Literally took. Well, how many days did it take her to get that stuff right?
About 5 days for that stuff.
5 days, but I bet it was delicious.
It was.
It
was very good.
That's how we got to look at our success. It takes time to make. The meal that you asking for, it takes time to make. Thanksgiving dinner take 5 days to get the stuffing right. Not even an additional 4 hours to prep and cook. Your success is the exact same way. And if you can't look at it like that, treat it like a child. You really think that we came out the womb as adults? Absolutely not. We were defenseless babies. We needed somebody to nourish us, to feed us, to allow us to grow. That's the same way your dreams and passions are. They need you to allow it to grow so that way it can finally take care of you. The same way we would if our parents. And I always look at it like that.
You know,
That's deep. I know.
yeah, it's very
We got
deep. And a lot of times I find myself in tune with what you're saying. I don't know what I'm going to say next.
You know, and I've learned to just start being more sensitive to my environment instead of being sensitive in my environment. Because I can tell you right now, if you'd have called me a year ago, I wouldn't be talking. You know, I would go in the moment and then get right back out of it. But I've learned to actually live in the moment more.
You know, I'm going to get real deep here for a second, and then we're going to call an end to this episode. But I started this year in January. One of my big goals was to do a bodybuilding show in June and to keep updating people with my YouTube channel and to grow my social medias and to continue to reach and inspire more people. And it was a very slow start. In January, February, I started building this website called the Lifter Library. It was to help people with fitness, and it offered a free
That's a good name.
no, the Lifter.
That's a good name.
Thank you. And it offered the free bootcamp blueprints, and then they could subscribe to more fitness tips. Anyways, so January, February went by, and March came, and then mid-April came, and I was like, this is not going the way I want it to be. You know, the Lifter Library isn't up. I'm really struggling with the preparation for my show. One of my friends was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
At the time. It gets better, I promise. So
God,
I don't want the listeners to be like real depressed right now. But this year got off to a very, very slow start. And in April, I did a video with Miss Bikini Olympia, and it got a couple million views. Well, it was at 3.8 million views in probably a month. And that it set my YouTube on fire. It set my social medias on fire. I started getting a lot more of the hatred comments, and it hardened me up a lot. And then, April, May, June came through. I finished the Lifter Library. I was getting ready to go do the show. Everything came in line. And then the friend that was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, she went to the hospital with pneumonia, and they had to intubate her. And she went into the hospital. I said, okay, I have to go see her. I don't want to worry about prepping for the show, even though it was possible. I don't want to worry about prepping for the show because I felt like it was selfish of me. I was trying to, stay in my own lane, prep for the show, and do the show without going back home. But I made the call. I said, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to see Ariel. I went in, and she was already awake. She was out of the intubation period. And I was there for 5 days. And over the course of those 5 days, I kid you not, she came out of intubation. She was on like 3 or 4 different stages of oxygen. They have the nostril oxygen, the mouth oxygen, and then they just have the tube down her throat. And then eventually she came out of that. And then they rechecked her tumor, and it had gone from a size 11 to a size 5 centimeter. The tumor had shrunk, so fast within the course of 2 months, my entire year was made, even though I didn't do the show, which is completely fine now. And what I'm trying to get to is you can put in so much effort and feel like you're getting nowhere, but as fast as you can even comprehend it, it can change for you. It can change in a direction that you never even thought was possible. And now I'm looking back on this year. I'm probably going to get emotional about it, but you can see the tears start coming to my eyes right now.
It's okay. We can cry.
She beat cancer.
Wow.
My other goals this year were to continue to grow YouTube. YouTube has been such a success for me. I want to continue to give back. A big reason why I gave you the microphones, and because I see your vision, I want you to have a bigger one. So much good came out of this year. I'm not looking at you right now because I'm a little self-conscious about myself tearing up, but I'm gonna be a man about it. I'm shedding tears right now. So much good came out of this year. This has been one of the best years that I've had in the 27 years of my existence, because so much change has come this year, and I'm just really thankful for it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, man, I'm just really glad. I'm really I'm really blessed to want to continue to give, continue to grow, and continue to put out dope YouTube videos and podcasts.
I like how you brought that back in. Like, like we're right now we're down and then you
Yeah.
just uppercut right there. Get us back up in
I
there.
got to. I gotta throw some freaking energy back in this thing.
And and that's one thing is that, coming into the situation is that I never thought that I would be meeting half the people that I would be meeting, and be having conversations and stuff like that. So I just, it's crazy, and it's like walking, it's like seeing yourself in one chapter. And that's why I always tell people is that you don't know, like we praise Game of Thrones for all the character development,
Mm-hmm.
and then like obviously season 8 was terrible, but I mean, we praise it for this character development, but that's the same way in your life. That's the exact same way in your life.
Yep.
You don't know what's about to happen. Somebody that you thought was a main character for some reason got killed off in the season. Not figuratively, but I mean, they ended up having to leave. You don't realize that. Some things that you thought that you was going to be, I swear to God, if you would have told me what I was going to do a year ago, I would have never told you I'd be a podcaster. I never told you that I would be sitting here talking to you. I think I just would have did 20 and, we just figured it out from there.
Yeah.
I probably just got a job in law enforcement. I don't know. But to see the growth and for you to even experience it, it just shows that there's you never know where your life is going to go. But and one thing, and I've told you before, I'm just so happy to see you walk in your purpose, to live in your passion, because that's really what this is all about. And I don't know who needs to hear it, but while you in the military, you got to understand, this is a 20-year gig. It is. For some, it'll be 4. For others, it might be 24 or 30. I don't know. But it's very short term in the grand scheme of things. Find out who you are. Realize your passions. You want to be a cook, then go out there and get your culinary degree. To be honest with you, you probably don't even need it because you probably already know what you need to do. Grab a camera, get the videotaping yourself cook, and put it up there. You want to speak? Go ahead and start getting in front of everybody. And I love the fact that you pulled away from the grain of what we are, and it showed us that we can actually be so much more. You showed me. You feel me? Like Koke, y'all have showed us that in a way that you can be so much more than what you already are. And you can use the thing that you're in right now to be able to shape and transform into something else. So I applaud you for that, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And when you, specifically, if you are in the military and you want to carry out a passion like that, it doesn't matter what your passion is going to be, you're going to get judged for it.
Absolutely.
And on social media, people make it verbal. Like if you're out there fishing, you're probably going to get criticized. It doesn't matter if you put it on social media or not. People are going to do it behind your back. People are going to do it in the comments. If you are putting it on social media, you're going to get criticized. So just go ahead and get that in your head right now.
People actually literally feel like they can try to control your life.
Yeah.
Like somebody told me, it's like, I love your message, but I don't like the fact that you smoke, you drink, and you cuss. And I'm like, so you don't like the fact that I'm human?
Yeah.
You don't like that. Like the message is good, but the fact that I'm a human being, you do not like that. And we forget. Everybody that you follow is a human being.
Yep.
Except for that person that you think you about to get married that's in Russia. That's not a human being. That's somebody else.
That's a scammer. Yeah.
That's a scammer. But you're a human being. And you should be allowed to be a human being. And I think that because you're a human being, that is why your passion burns the brightest that it does. It's because you're a human being that you're allowed to be able to walk in the purpose that you're supposed to have. And that's why it keeps changing, because you're human. And you said it best. When you start something, don't expect it to be 200 subscribers. Don't expect it to be this. Hell, I did a revamp of the podcast when I first started. First 3 episodes, it was, motivation for the starving soul. God, every time I say that name out loud, it just cringe. I cringe.
It's not that bad as you think.
And it's just too Twilight. It's too Twilightish. It's like on a book cover and stuff like that. Like chicken noodle soup for the that's what it sounds like. But we weren't extraordinary thoughts for the ordinary mind. And that came up to me because I'm like, I feel ordinary. You see what I'm saying? Like I always feel like that. But yet I'm doing extraordinary things. I'm if I looked at somebody else that had everything that I had, I would be like, holy crap, look at that guy. He's an IT, he's this, he's that. He's got so much confidence. But because it's mine and I'm so used to it, I just think that it's ordinary. And that's how we all feel. And I wanted to share a piece of it because as you close one chapter, somebody else is about to open it up.
Yeah.
And they need to hear it. They need to feel it, you know?
Yeah.
How do we this is a roller coaster of emotions right now.
No, this is good. This is good. This is deep. It's real deep. This is the deepest podcast I've ever been in. Which is probably why I'm going to have you back.
Oh man, I love to be back. I love to be back.
Good. But for now, I mean, you left me speechless. I'm gonna pull the plug on this episode right now.
Pull the plug right here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna put it into it. I'm not gonna kill it. This is for sure going out.
Like we're gonna shelf this up. This episode can't come out.
Yeah.
It can't come out.
No, this is great. This is coming out for sure. It's coming out hard.
You know.
So there's an application called Podstellar, and for the listeners, if you haven't downloaded Podstellar yet, I want you to. It's you can kind of you can interact with the podcasts a lot better than iTunes and Spotify. And if you're not on it yet, I recommend it.
I'm gonna get it.
Okay, and so yeah, go ahead and download Podstellar and look for the Hot Mic Show, and also go ahead and tell them the name of your podcast.
All right, so once again, every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, stay tuned for another episode of Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind.
And where can they find you out on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at OMG It's Meech. Once again, that is OMG It's Meech. Meech is spelled MEECH.
Cool. You have a YouTube channel, right?
It's Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind.
Okay, cool. And an episode with Demetrius will be on his YouTube channel, an episode that him and I did.
Oh, yeah. I love how we're doing the backdoor pilot right there and there. Like, if you liked this, then you want to go back over to this podcast because we did another episode together.
Yep, shameless plug. You got to plug it out. When in doubt, plug it out.
This is how the Justice League franchise started right here.
Like, for sure.
This is it.
But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you listening. If you're listening on podcast platforms, we will see you in the next episode of the Hot Mic Show. Thanks. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hot Mic Show. If you want to catch more Hot Mic episodes, you can click the link to my left, or if you want to subscribe, you can click the link below that link. Thanks again. See you in the next episode.